We would like to thank the Hutchison family and foundation very, very much for their generosity in endowing this lecture. And as I'm sure you all know, this evening's lecture is being mounted in conjunction with what is UTAC's major fall exhibition, Traffic, Conceptual Art in Canada from 1960 to 1980. And this is an extraordinary creation that has come together from many individuals, and one of the first major exhibitions attempting to document the many, many varieties and manifestations of conceptual art in Canada. And a project on that scale requires many, many partners, obviously, and indeed this exhibition is in fact organized and circulated by the Art Gallery of Alberta, the Justina M. Barnica Gallery at Hart House, the Vancouver Art Gallery, and with the Leonard and Bina Ellen Art Gallery at Concordia University, and also Halifax Inc. And of course, it takes many curators to be involved in such a project. So it has been jointly curated by Grant Arnold of the Vancouver Art Gallery, Catherine Croston of the Art Gallery of Alberta, Barbara Fisher of the Justina M. Barnica Gallery, Michel Thériault with Vincent Bonin of the Ellen Gallery at Concordia University, and Jane Wark of the Nova Scotia College of Art and Design. And we're all tremendously proud that this exhibition is premiering here at 4 University of Toronto public art galleries, UTAC, the Barnica next door, the Doris McCarthy Gallery in Scarborough, and the Blackwood Gallery at UTM. And we'd like to thank all of our colleagues for this partnership. We'd like to thank all of the curators, all of the organizers, and of course all of the 70 artists whose work is being shown. I do just need to add some other thanks. Traffic has been made possible by a major grant from the Museum Assistance Program of the Department of Canadian Heritage, also by support from the Canada Council for the Arts and by the Ontario Arts Council. And also at UTAC, I'd like to thank Manulife Financial, which is the Art Centre's 2010 exhibition supporting sponsor. And this evening's lecture, as many of you know, is entitled, I Will Still Make Boring Art, still very much underlined, and will of course be delivered by Lisa Steele, whose work is in the Traffic exhibition. It's in the Toronto section, curated by Barbara Fisher, but it's out at the Blackwood, no, it's the Doris McCarthy Gallery, so you'll have to go out and sort of see that there. So, Professor, Associate Chair, and Graduate Program Director of the Visual Studies Program in the U of T's Department of Art, Lisa Steele has had a long and distinguished career as all of artist, activist, curator, teacher, writer, and I'm sure other things that I've forgotten to mention. Since 1983, she has collaborated with Kim Tomczak in creating video, performances, installations, and photo text works that investigate the issues of the body, the individual's relationship to society, and more recently, the delicate connection among fear, faith, and death. As co-founders of the Media Arts Centre V-Tape and longtime anti-censorship activists, Steele and Tomczak continue to be active in the artist-run culture in Canada. Both have had extensive involvement on the boards of artistic organizations, for example, the Toronto Arts Council and also the Centre for Aboriginal Media. Their artworks have been exhibited nationally and internationally in galleries, museums, and festivals, and are in many collections across the country, including the Art Gallery of Ontario, the National Gallery of Canada, and also in the Museum of Modern Art in New York. And apart from the piece by Lisa that you can see in Traffic, you can, at least for the next 10 years, see a major piece, a large public-scale installation called Water Table, which is underneath the Gardiner Expressway just west of Bathurst Street. This was the result of winning a major international competition several years ago. And if I'm right, their work is also just opened at the McLaren Art Centre in Barrie as part of the Barrie's Carnegie Days Festival with Bump Into the Night, showing a series of the recent photo text works. And I believe that has a major opening tomorrow night.
And
just because
it's actually bus shelters.
Bus shelters, that's right.
Yeah,
it's sort of on 10 bus
shelters.
So, on top of that, both Tomczak and Steele produce curatorial projects, and Steele writes on video and media, and in 1996 was co-editor with Peggy Gale of the book Video Review, a source for critical writing on Canadian artist video. Together, they have been the recipients of numerous awards, and I'll just mention the Bell Canada Award for Excellence in Video Art in 1992, and the Toronto Arts Award for Media Arts in 1993, and the Governor-General's Award in Visual and Media Arts for Lifetime Achievement in 2005. So please join me in welcoming Lisa Steele.
Thank you. Thank you, Niamh. I want to thank everyone for coming out this afternoon and bearing with us while we had a little technical glitch, and especially thank my good colleagues at the University of Toronto Arts Centre, the director, Niamh O'Leary, for extending the invitation to present the 14th annual Janet E. Hutchison lecture here at UTAC, and also to Maureen Smith, who the program's business and programs coordinator, for her continued efforts in support of all the rich programming that is presented at the Arts Centre. And it continues to be a real pleasure to work with you both. So thank you. And I have to thank Barbara Fisher, who assembled the Toronto section of the Traffic exhibition, and I think a lot of other things. I don't want to short shrift you there. But in my case, and I know I'm not alone in this exhibition, Barbara's efforts were more archaeological than curatorial, as her research led her to works of mine that had only been seen in a single screening soon after they were made in the 1970s. So in particular, the three-channel work Internal Pornography has been seen only one time at Art Metropole in 1975, just weeks after its completion. And I'm going to show a clip of that later. On to the talk proper. Using John Baldessari's famous artwork, I Will Not Make Any More Boring Art, as my inspiration, I have titled this talk, I Will Still Make Boring Art. And this is tongue-in-cheek, of course, but only partly so. In 1971, when he made this work, John Baldessari was teaching at Cal Arts, the Valencia, California art school, famously founded with Disney money. The story goes like this. The Nova Scotia College of Art and Design in Halifax was already getting a reputation for its far-out visitors, and they commissioned Baldessari to create a work. But Baldessari was unable to fund his own travel, which was part of this commission, which is very typical for NASCAD in the 70s. I think they got people to do a lot for a little. Anyway, he couldn't get himself out to the east coast of Canada, so instead, he asked for student volunteers to write the phrase, which he said was drawn from his own notebooks at the time. And they wrote it directly on the walls of the gallery. And this is the, I will not make any more boring art. And this is all the different handwriting. This is the actual writing on the wall at NASCAD. And this is one of the students, and it's an interesting pedagogical project, I think, that Baldessari was also involved in when he did this by giving over, kind of reversing a traditional relationship of teacher-student and actually having the students make the artworks. And this is, he also sent this full page of his own handwriting with this, and Nova Scotia then made prints of this, and I believe probably sold them, which they could have bought him a ticket, but I don't know. Anyway, that's okay. I'm sure he's not worrying about it. Baldessari himself has said that it's a reflection of his dissatisfaction with the direction that both minimalism and painting of that era were going at the time. But most of all, it can be seen as a rather potent marker for the developing practice that came to be called conceptual art. I have to say that I didn't know this work by John Baldessari when I began to consider that I just might be an artist after all. At this point in my life, I was making photographs and had done a bit of 8mm experimental filmmaking. But I went to university, not art school, so I didn't feel very confident about my place in all of this. But in 1972, I was hired by Ace Space Gallery in Toronto to teach video and also to do the plumbing in the planned darkroom. No kidding, I did do it. It didn't leak. And to wait tables eventually, something I did not excel at. But the video thing really got my attention, and within 4 months of my hiring, I was making my first videotape, which I'm going to show you now. And this work is in the exhibition that Barbara has put together out at Doris McCarthy. This tape is called Juggling.